Welcome to John Makes Beats, where John makes beats. I'm your host, SP404 Mark II man. And today I'm going to show you what SP404 Mark II can. And by that, I mean I'm going to show you how I use this machine. A lot of y'all motherfuckers have been asking for this. I'm just kidding. Let's change the tone. Now, as much as people have asked me to use this on the channel more often, there's only 3 videos in which I'm using the SP404 Mark II. And now we have a 4th. So the way I use this machine to make beats is actually a little bit different than what I've seen a lot of other people do. You're actually able to get separated stems of performances to layer on top of your track, and then you can also export them individually and mix in Ableton or whatever. I think the combination of these features actually make this machine really powerful. I want all of you to be able to know how to do that. So today I'm going to make a track, but I'm going to show you how I go through that. And because today I'm using the 404 Mark II, which is, nice and portable, you probably want me using a keyboard that looks a little something like this, but unfortunately, this doesn't make any noise. So we're going to have to do with the Arturia Polybrute 12 for today. Let's make sure like my part gets... Sometimes these videos, I'm like coming through with the alfalfa shit. So let's get started. I know a lot of people use the SP404 to sample records. What we're going to do instead is we're just going to play into it. But let's just pretend that I'm sampling, a new age record or a jazz record. That one's actually kind of tight. A lot of the samples that I like to mess with are kind of the openings or, intermissions or outros of songs that are a lot more loose. They don't necessarily have a defined rhythm or tempo. And through chopping, you can rearrange them and define that anyway. So it's kind of the same thing. Getting the vibe here. We need something special here. You know what? We got to go back to that, actually. That's pretty fire. Hey, all right, then we have something here. This is nice. Let's start recording here. So we just recorded those chords, and that was a weird record that we just recorded. So let's chop this. So let's go in here and let's adjust the start points. And see, this is kind of what I would do with the record anyway. I would just find wherever the melodic changes are, whether it's a melody or a chord. And since you can't chop more than 16 chops, basically the rest of the sample is going to be the 16th chop. And then once I put this on like a new bank, then I'll just chop the 16th pad and put it somewhere else. That way you can get more than 16 chops out of a sample. Now, a big problem with this is all of these are going to overlap each other. This is what we don't want. So we can go to Bank B and we can create a mute group. So now these are all in the same mute group. Now they're not going to cut each other off. So now we have all our chops. Just ungating all this. I'm sure there's a shortcut that lets you do it in bulk. Okay, this is always the most time-consuming part of getting a track up and running anywhere, but especially the 404. Because once I get these chops and once I get the drums, I have sort of an idea of what I want. Very smooth from there. Okay, so now we have that. Let's decide on some drums. Let's look for a drum break today. That's pretty good. We're gonna chop that actually. Booyah! We're going to turn on ping pong looping, which is actually pretty easy. You press a sample and then you just hit shift and hit loop, which activates ping pong mode. And it's kind of unusable unless you also combine it with the mute groups. You play them all at the same time and it sounds like chaos, right? You don't want that. But if you go into mute groups and you choose a mute group you're not using, you put them all in the same one. Now you get this. So it sounds more natural. See what I mean? We're going to record that. Let's just play on top of this. For the drums, think of cassette or the vinyl sim. Let's try the speed. Something has to change. I think there's a way to get certain pads to go through one effect and certain ones to go through another, right? Orange is bus 1, green is bus 2. Got it. It's like you have to do like a Hadouken combo anytime you want to do something on this machine. So it's going to have the bus 3 and 4 be the 303 vinyl sim and the cassette. All right, so let's create more variations here. So we're also going to record here and do the same thing. I want a few different versions of this so that way it always feels like it's evolving. Ooh, right there. I want to mess with the drums here. Oh, that's cool. We got some drum variation there. This is all so that way the track feels more alive. So on this one, we're actually going to delete these chords that are kind of like, and we're going to go into audition mode. Yeah, that's good. It's like just messy enough where it's interesting. There you go. So let's find the rest of this. There we go. We do that. I like where we're at. Let's create a pattern chain. Okay, so. So now I have that. That's my pattern chain. Okay, so resample. Hit the button. Hold. Press that. Now I just took that pattern chain that I made, and now I'm resampling it to one pad as a sample. So that's done. I'm going to go to external source. I'm going to change that to external in. So basically what's going to happen is when I'm resampling, I'm only going to capture what I have connected to the unit. So that way I can play a pad and I can play along with it, and it's going to have its own pad on the 404 that just has my recording. And then I'm going to layer that on top of my pattern chain. Let's do that. I have it all set up. So when I press this, if I choose to resample, it's going to start recording immediately on the one. So it's going to be all in sync. So that way when I layer it, I don't have to do any adjustments. Let me work out the bass on this. Go a little funky with it. I kind of have an idea. Once I press this button, I have to start recording. I feel like this is the one. That wasn't it at all. That was like one of the worst ones we did. We have to hold external source and make it the mix. Resample to this pad, hold. We're gonna resample it with the bass line. That way we can play with the bass line. Now I have the bass by itself. Now I can drag that off of my SP and it's gonna have the same starting point as the pattern chain, which is great. I need something that cuts through. I mean, we only have 2 melodic elements right now, so it has to bring something out of it. That's kind of crazy, bro. Let's do that. Ooh, that is crazy. Oh, hey, that's fire. Ooh, that's kind of tight. That's funky, man. I can't do 2 whistles, man. Whistle on whistle don't work. Oh, I forgot this one. Yeah, baby. This is what we needed. Yeah. Let's just do it, man. think that's it, man. I want like a drone. Ooh, that's tight. To recap, what I've done is I've taken, like simple chops on the pattern mode, and then I chained them, and then I resampled them to a pad, and then I'm using that pad in order to resample a bunch of other sounds. But these sounds are, by themselves. So essentially, it's kind of like I'm in like Pro Tools or Ableton or something, and I'm just laying down stems. What this allows you to do is this allows you to play externally alongside the tracks that you're making. And all you have to do is when you have all the patterns that you want, that you just record them using quantize and the chunkiest quantize possible, and make sure that each of them just starts at the first step of the first pattern. So pattern 1A is the beginning of our pattern chain. So, I have it the grid 4 for quantize. That means it's only going to record quarter notes. And now we're just going to record all these. So now when I play it, I think we're good here, man. I think this is the track. I'm just going to record it straight into my tape machine. Nice. It's fire. So there you have it. Now you can record in real time to the beats that you're making in the 404, and you don't even have to resample and do destructive recording. Now you can have your stems all separated inside the machine. It's not necessarily, spelled out for you. So I hope this video helps some people understand that if they have an intention of recording live into their machine the way I do through the octatrack and through the MPC. So thank you so much for watching. I appreciate it. If you want to hear this beat as well as all the other beats I make on the channel, go ahead and check out the John Makes Beats Patreon, where you can get access to probably 115, 120 tracks at this point. Every week, a new track gets uploaded and added to the makeshift streaming service that I have. There's also a Discord, and you get access to all the live streams where I film all this stuff. I actually have a group of nice people with me right now. But other than that, thank you so much, and I'll see you next time. Peace.